Hello. Yeah, all right. Everything's okay.
From what your angle, how bad was the silence?
Yeah, when it's over, we're going to take the mics down.
The one where you
Well,
got
we're going to take the mics. Yeah, do the mics.
two trainers. What's that big like carrying them off? That was like with like 3 minutes left.
Okay. Yes.
Good. You?
I think you made it worse overall. We'll find an answer.
Well, you have a preference inside.
Tomorrow after selection. Yeah. Evan said it was great on TV, so.
We're not ready yet, you know. Give you two seconds. Yeah, no rush.
Matt Crispy with the one-liner the other day.
Nothing much has changed. This was something. We're in it.
I've never seen anything. I've never seen 3 games played out so different.
Wildly. Unless it's like 2-point wins.
Doesn't close off.
Nope.
Test 1 2 1 2. Test 1 2 1 2.
Like is UConn going in person?
Yes. Good. How are you?
Good.
Test 1 2 1 2 1 2 3. There you go.
Is this or something?
Nobody's going to be
Mike, you had said yesterday that this would make this the first time that they won both the regular season and the tournament in back-to-back years. Is that true?
Yeah, I'll get you. We'll go through tournament notes in between UConn and St. John's coming to the room. There'll be a little bit of time between the two. So got a few of those.
It's UConn, so St. John's.
Let's see.
I got the center Phillies. I got I said very well. Just say I'm terrible. You expect that? Yeah. It's all Florida. Certainly not Florida.
Well, no. I was, Florida also owns it, and so did Houston.
Their only chance was if UConn wanted to have Houston
I feel
or
like
Florida.
they'd have to have a pretty significant their student, 2.1 million Florida's resumes in the playoffs. No.
We can give you the 2026 Big East All-Tournament team. From Seton Hall, Bud Clark. From UConn, Karis Reed Jr. and Alex Caravan. From St. John's, Bryce Hopkins and Dylan Mitchell. And your Dave Gavitt Trophy for the most outstanding player of the 2026 Big East Tournament, St. John's, Zuby Ejiofor.
Can you repeat the first one real quick? It's Clark, Reed, Caravan, Hopkins, and Getro.
I got you.
And then Zuby one.
Yeah.
What's he called, the most outstanding player?
Yeah, it's
Just want to
SOP,
get you
yeah.
another microphone.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, maybe we'll get fresh batteries or something.
I don't know why they're She has a sign. No, of course.
It was,
Clark, Reed, Caravan, Hopkins, and Mitchell.
Test 1 2 1 2.
Yeah. All right, UConn is on their way to the press conference. Alex Caravan will be joining, along with head coach Dan Hurley. At this time, the UConn locker room is open.
Mike, how long is that going to remain? Will it take?
Approximately 30 minutes. Thank you.
Like through it there? Is St. John's like even 30?
Yes, when it opens, it will be open for 30 minutes. They are still, they are just about starting the trophy ceremony on the court. right, we'll start with a statement from Coach.
Yeah, obviously huge credit to St. John's. I mean, they jumped us to start the game. I think we knew there would be a very forceful response from them, and we just weren't able to match it. We weren't able to finish some things around the basket and just kind of settle into the game. And then, just playing catch-up was an issue. But all the stuff for us that's been problematic throughout the year, just the defense in the first half, the turnovers, and then obviously just a brutal night shooting, just a brutal night shooting. And, I'd imagine the shot quality's going to be pretty decent. But, this time of year, if you don't have a little bit of magic with shot making, it's going to be an issue. But credit St. John's. I mean, they got a team that's, built to, is built incredibly well to play, in this conference here. And, just the ultimate credit to them. They deserved it, and we didn't.
All right, we'll start with questions from Dave.
Yeah, Dan, obviously you guys have to get over this pretty quickly and move on to the bigger other goals. Do you think this team is equipped to do that from what you've seen, that to get over this loss and understand that there's bigger goals remain?
Yeah, I think definitely. I mean, we didn't. I think we've responded pretty well. I mean, we'll do the same thing. I'm not going to make the same mistakes with this team. I didn't crush them in there. I mean, they're crushed. I mean, the group is crushed. I mean, we laid an egg, and in something that we desperately wanted to win. I mean, we just. We just laid an egg. So what we'll do is the same thing we did in 23. We'll stay in the hotel tonight. The coaches will break down the film. We'll watch the edit in the morning with the team, and we'll leave the Big East tournament experience here on Sunday morning. I think there's like a marathon, so we obviously have to try to time up how the hell we're going to get out of here, with the bus through the city, which is what I'm thinking about right now. Oddly, we're going to do what we did in 23. We'll leave it here. We know that we play our best basketball versus not, in the NCAA tournament and versus non-conference teams. So our group knows that. This is a really, really physical league. That was a really, really, really physical game. And we're excited to play in the NCAA tournament that doesn't get played like that.
We'll go to Joe.
Dan, Silas went out, and then it looked like a short time in the locker room, and he came back, and then he went down again. Didn't exactly see what happened, but do you have any, I know you haven't had much time, but do you have any update on how he's doing? Yeah,
I don't even know if he got retaped in the back. When he came back out there, he just reappeared on the bench, and I went over to him and I said, "Hey, are you good?" He said, "Yeah, I'm fine." I mean, the first thing I just had heard that it was a very mild sprain with no swelling. Obviously, we'll take precautions with an X-ray, but I mean, we'll keep our fingers crossed. But it didn't look. Hopefully, it's not something that lingers.
We'll go to two on this side.
Coach, throughout the week, staff and players have been talking about bringing joy back into playing, especially after the Marquette loss. How do you get that joy back after a loss like this?
Yeah, I mean, it's like a new season. Really, it's as important as it is, to win your regular season, as important as it is to win your tournament. Unfortunately for this business, you could do all those things, but if you have a bad NCAA tournament, it's cruel. So, whether it's right or wrong, your team, the coach, the players, you end up getting, in the end, the time of year that's about to come to fruition is going to be what we're ultimately going to be judged on. So, we weren't championship quality. We've had a great season, with 29-5. We just haven't had a championship season. And now for us, we've got to try to atone for what we didn't get by just having a great NCAA tournament, making a run.
All right, Adam.
Yeah, what can you say about Zuby and the performance he had? He had almost a triple-double with blocks.
Yeah.
And just how much of a handful is he going to be in the NCAA tournament for teams that haven't seen him?
Yeah, I mean, just that guy. I mean, he's one of the best players in college I've ever coached against. I mean, that guy is, I mean, you know, the production, the point production, the rebounding production, the havoc he causes on defense, the relentlessness that he plays with, and then just him as a leader of that team, just his personality. I mean, the rage that he plays with, the fire that he plays with. I mean, that guy is just a total butt kicker. I mean, he's on the handful of best players I've ever coached against in college. I mean, that guy is a true difference maker that elevates everyone around him, and I don't have any idea, you know, why that guy is not mocking as a first-round player in the NBA draft. I mean, he's a switchable defender. He could make threes. I mean, he could guard 1 through 5. I mean, a guy's like an Al Horford, almost the way Al Horford plays in the NBA, not when he was at Florida.
All right, we'll go to 2 up front.
Alex, what are you going to remember most about playing in the Big East?
I mean, it's my favorite conference. It's no conference like it. Round robin. You have the best coaches in the country, great home environments, and it's one tough league. I mean, you get the best players in the league, you get the best shot every single night, and obviously the biggest tournament is one of a kind. So, biggest conference, great, and you know, I always remember, you know, just how special and you know how much respect I have for all the teams in the league.
All right, we'll go to Gavin.
Alex, what made their defense so difficult to score against?
Yeah, I mean, they came out from the start just pressuring, and, you know, they set the tone, and we, you know, they just set the tone, and we just had to find a way to respond, and we just didn't do that to start the first half. So, I mean, they pressure, they're athletic, they could switch, they could, you know, they have a really good defense, they're super well coached, so, you know, and then the shots just didn't fall our way today. But, you know, I'm not going to take away credit from St. John's. They deserve all the credit for how they play defensively.
We'll go to Mike.
Dan, did you like where you stood deep into the second half when you pulled to within 8 or 10 a couple times and you had a few shots in the air that seemed to be good looks?
Yeah, I mean, listen, you know, I don't know if it was 10. Obviously, you cut it to, I don't know if it got to 7, and then some unfortunate things happened. But I don't know if it was 10. Braylon gets an open 3. I think the offense rebound the ball. Solo gets an open 3 to cut it to 7. And then I think we got the ball back again, drove it. Missed the layup. You know, it's you go 3 for 19 from 3. It's just the way the game started for us, I think, was, you know, Taras had a couple of good opportunities. You know, we had some things at the rim. We just couldn't settle into the game, you know, and then, you know, it just kind of unraveled for us. But yeah, I thought that if we put some game pressure on them down the stretch, I thought, you know, we had a chance. If we make one of those threes and it's 7, and you know the crowd starts turning a little bit and they get a little game pressure tight, there was a window for us there.
We'll go to Don.
Alex, the way the season has unfolded, where you've kind of played 3 or 4 of your best games and 3 or 4 of your worst games in the last couple of weeks or last few weeks. Can you put your finger on that inconsistency and what can be done or said to kind of address it?
I'm not sure what the inconsistency is. It might be turnovers. We had a lot of turnovers today. I think all those losses that you said, we had a bunch of turnovers. We just didn't defend at the level that we typically would defend at. So we show up defensively. We show up taking care of the ball. Then, you know, we're one of the best teams in the country. So we just got to do it on a nightly basis.
All right, go right up front.
Coach, obviously UConn in March, there's special things happen, and this loss, although devastating, doesn't define the season. Mm-hmm. Is there anything you can take away from the effort tonight moving in as you look forward to March?
I mean, I don't want to, you know, probably comment on the effort, because I think you get fooled a lot sometimes, you know. Like, I don't know how much of tonight was us getting punked and being soft, or, you know, they just played great and we just missed shots. You know, I don't want to probably comment too much on that until I get a chance to see the film.
I'll go right back
or
there.
whether we were soft and just got punked, or just played bad.
Dan, was there anything that St. John's did differently from the last time you guys played them at your place? Was there any differences just in terms of the way they defended or anything like that, schematically?
I mean, they were into us more, like when you're playing at home. I mean, MSG is where St. John's plays home games. I think typically teams on the road aren't as aggressive defensively as you are at home. I think you pressure more at home. You're more confident. You feed off the crowd. So I would say they probably got into us a lot more. But the difference in the game was, we had 5 turnovers in the first game, and we were turning the ball over. I don't know if it was 11 at halftime and ended up being 17, but I know they had 15 points off turnovers in the first half.
All right, we'll go to our last one, right there in the middle.
Alex, is there anything you wish that you had done differently tonight?
The whole 40 minutes I wish I'd done differently. I mean, I wish some of my shots went in. I wish I didn't lose focus on Sellers and Hopkins when we were coming back, and Sellers got a layup and Hopkins got the midi. There's a lot of things I wish I'd done differently, and it's not much you could do about it. You just got to sit with that pain and really, you just got to sit with the pain and, I wish I played a whole different 40. Yeah.
That's it. All right.
Somber.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
You're not doing the...
No, they're going to be second.
What's that? I haven't gotten an update on where they are in terms of the ceremony yet. Yeah, I haven't heard who it is yet.
They're not a once, for sure. If they had won. Thank you very much.
I haven't gotten anything yet. I think they're still... What? Okay.
Last year, 5 minutes on there because all these attack players have to take pieces of depends on what you call it. I got others.
Yeah. Yeah, post-game you can get on the floor.
Good game, huh? I can't believe it. Getting close there, too. I know. I mean, the fact they ran away with it, though, much new game. Yeah. I'm not sure if you know, but first time in Big East history, teams won regular season and conference tournament titles back to back. First time in St. John's history they won back-to-back tournament. Be a question you ask him. Yeah, it's hard to get questions in here, though. They're pretty tough.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Always fun.
Would you trust? No, we're in independent, so we made everything on equal. So our goal is Philly. They're in Philly.
Yeah, I see someone called me last night.
You'll be there Wednesday, right?
I'll be there.
I got it. Yeah, food thing, events, stuff like that. I have to ramp up my med stuff, though. I have
It's nothing really to talk about anyway.
spring training, yeah.
Delicious about Mike Toppin and so many things.
I know, yeah. But there's been so much stuff with St. John's where it's like, I gotta lock in with that. Have a little bit of stuff tomorrow. Soto, yeah. I hope DR shorts us.
Really? Yeah.
We don't just have to. What Rose is doing, we don't just
He lost any opportunity he had to be a man.
check. It's embarrassing. You'll be at opening day too, right?
I'll be there.
Do that.
We'll be seeing each other.
Hopefully. I'm doing this in the summer again, my internship, so I'll be there. He's still here? Yeah, it's okay. Just distracted. Oh, I showed you. Are you going to be trying to say something? You're done? You done? Yeah. Yeah, I don't need to. And then here's the second round. Stuff going on. Okay, cool. Yeah. It's not like they were getting 14 bad looks. They were getting shots. And they had that one stretch where it was like, Braylon was at 3, so was Braylon was at 3, so was the 3. And like, that's one of the cusp of like 9 points. Yeah, they're right there. In single digits, and you can really control the power of the very competitive. No, you get fined tonight. We'll get fined for his
What exactly did he do?
He like stomped. He did like a jumping, stomping action. It really wasn't a lot.
Jumping stuff.
Yeah, it really wasn't a lot.
That's probably just based on expectation.
Yes, I would say.
What happened last week? What happened last week?
Yeah, I think it was when he bumped it, the referee's head. They just something to do with hitting.
It's Saturday, it was open. Yeah, looks like I'm gonna bring home. He trains now. It's ridiculous. 70 miles. I'm actually just turning his mask. As long as you split. I've got 3 times.
They're trying to get him to college, but they're mostly I do college football first. Nice to meet you.
I'll let you know our service.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
The other wire service.
Yeah, I can feel that. I talked to Adam.
Zalanka.
Yeah, Zalanka. Yeah, I didn't see Paul Creighton. He was supposed to be. I saw right next to him.
Yeah, he was supposed to be.
Yeah. He's a good guy.
Great guy.
I thought about finding that. He did a good job, but he could have My job's not heavy. No, yeah, totally. Well, that's my real job. Yeah. I mean, I'd love for this to be a real job.
It's not bad.
No, it's not. It's hard to.
It was never on the table. You got it. He was just always pretty cool. He stood out, and then he wasn't standing out.
Maybe they think they don't stand out.
And he had to be. I don't know. He's just like a 6
I don't think it's cool.
But he's still last year. That's what a lot of those.
Yeah, I've covered almost St. John's in his life.
Yeah, I did all the games at once.
I did all the St. John's. Yeah, I was here. She's wrong. Our side, I St. John's.
No, it's going to go down. More fans will be out of the area.
Right, that's why I really just got full day. The games here. I started already. I just it's fun. I feel like I'm
You should know this is one for that too. Yes. I'll take it. Actually, back to that. To end your tenure here at St. John's. Just start.
There's another one where he has a lane all 4 years in there. It's that first team that went to
I would just sort of watch it
My theory is, you know how I was there when transition committed? I heard so my theory is, that means Syracuse, they're not building a good team for the future, they're going to keep going after next year. If they go heavy in recruiting, so it all depends. Because if Rick leaves, also get transferred, they would have that.
I think Jerry will make the bowl. National crowd. Yeah, I think they would want Jerry. I think I just want to see it.
And you got one
national championship.
And really want a Big East.
I mean, the thing is, people don't understand is Jim Baker is still very active. He's still in the SEC. Everybody's there. At the end of the day, it can't be worse than I think it's just no, he just wasn't that good. You know, Jim, they don't really have a lot to throw in. They didn't have. What do you know if I did it was 632?
words. And that's right.
All I want to say is that is the most insane way to respond to a 30-point loss. I don't know if you heard when Hurley said that. She was the best players in the ocean.
I think it's being aggressive shit. Not as right. Yeah, they told me I was looking through pretty sure. Good at point guard. It's big shots and movements. It's the plays. So much level towards the player. Just shit. Just so kind of looked like it was on the pictures though.
Oh, they're up.
Forgetting that.
No, they're just emailing Jake.
Oh, that was like.
It was an example of game. They didn't come up here.
Yeah.
They didn't come in.
I know it doesn't.
I don't know. I missed it. I grabbed the caravan for a question. Exactly. So I did it well. I don't know. It was early in caravan.
you said, give it that basket, like, not pausing before the basket.
Test.
I'm like, no tears. This feels so fast.
Test.
Thank you.
Me and James took a picture. And then like something's flashing. I was like, oh my god. What are we doing with our hands? Our hands. Yeah, well, they do have precautionary. Dan earlier said that you use this picture.
Yeah, I mean, it's a sprained ankle. I mean, just don't do the x-ray, don't figure it out. And then it's probably, I don't think they need it in game one. He's gonna go. Right, like, tall guy, small. Yeah. I mean, he didn't know. I know tall guy. But I think that first time they don't need him for half that. So they could probably afford to sit on Saturday, Sunday. Without him,
How the neck from the... You get any pictures of like the committee? Yeah, like zoom you hold it. Yeah. Alright, I think you got better. See, this is pre-rate.
This is why. We're going to have situations. Yeah. I heard your team's not going yeah, I know. Like Russ asked me, Bryce is we said it, yeah, it's nah, he wasn't gonna win it after he was such a long time. Yeah, pictures great that.
I have not heard yet. They are headed to the locker room. Effectively. If they have 5%. Could be.
So we technically have triple double.
What?
If we count stocks as a stat.
Yep. No, I don't.
Oh, okay, listen, there's a little metric. There's a little metric. No team has confidence. No team has ever won national championship. That's like been the case for every single team. That would be crazy.
Stat as well. He's your first thing. You'll have to look at
All right, we'll start with some notes post-championships. St. John's becomes the first school to repeat as the outright regular season and Big East tournament championships. With St. John's win this year, it marks the 4th consecutive year that the number 1 seed has won the Big East championship. This was the 12th time that the number 1 and number 2 seed met in the championship game of the Big East tournament. The number 1 seed has now improved to 7-5 all time. This is the 5th Big East title for St. John's. They become the first back-to-back Big East tournament champion since Villanova did. They won 3 straight from 2017, 2018, and 2019. St. John's now becomes the 6th school to win a back-to-back Big East tournament championship, joining Georgetown, UConn, Syracuse, Louisville, and the aforementioned Villanova.
I'm sorry, Mike. When did Villanova last do it?
Villanova 17, 18, and 19. And Rick Pitino is now the first coach to win back-to-back Big East tournament titles at 2 different schools. This was the first Big East championship game to be decided by 20 or more points since the 2021 championship, when Georgetown won their title over Creighton 73-48. This is also the 6th consecutive double-digit win in Big East tournament play for St. John's.
When was the last time that happened? 6 double-digit wins?
I believe it was UConn between 99 and 2000. And if a recap of the 2026 Big East All-Tournament team: from Seton Hall, Bud Clark; from UConn, Terrace Reed Jr. and Alex Caraban; from St. John's, Bryce Hopkins and Dylan Mitchell; and your Dave Gavitt Trophy winner for the most outstanding player of the Big East tournament was Zuby Ejiofor. For the Big East tournament, Zuby averaged 19.7 points, 8 rebounds, 4 blocks, and 3 assists. He became the first player in Big East tournament history to finish with at least 18 points, 9 rebounds, 7 blocks, 3 steals, and 2 assists.
Mike, is there a stat for the last time that you remember trailed in the tournament?
There probably is. It would.
They went for 118 minutes of 120.
118-16.
Thanks.
Andrew has the stat.
And no team has ever won back-to-back regular season and postseason.
No, outright.
Mike, you said they were the 6th school to win back-to-back, correct?
Correct.
Hey, welcome to my side. Arizona beat Houston?
Yeah, Arizona.
Yeah, I guess by default, Florida 2-1.
So who's the 2 in the South? UConn or Houston? Which is in Houston. I think they get a real disservice. Yeah. I would go UConn.
UConn is the 2.
Yeah. Put Houston as the 2 somewhere else. I'm going to like.
Question on one of those notes, first ever two-time outright, two-time tournament champion.
Back to back.
Thank you.
We're still waiting on just the confirmation of which players will be joining us from St. John's. Because there are multiple players, could be up to 4 or 5. Please, if you're going to address a question to our players, please address them by name first. Back to back with 2 schools. Yes.
By far. By 10. No, I lied. 61 and a win against Kansas.
All right, so we'll be joined by Oziah Sellers, Zuby Ejiofor, Dylan Mitchell, and Bryce Hopkins. Yes. St. John's is en route. Their locker room is open for the next 30 minutes.
The 2 turnovers in the final minute of the first half. Could have been 8-point. Yeah, but just the energy you have to understand. I was watching the Really? They're not even in That was after the Ole Miss game.
Yeah, all the way down. Probably gonna have to squeeze in a little bit.
Oh man, there's a lot of us today.
Yeah, if you guys need more room, let's just get some here. All right, we'll start with questions for the players. Reminder, please address the player by name. We'll start with Zach.
Zuby, when you left the floor for the last time, looked like you were breaking down a little.
Oh.
What was that like? That the emotions you had, the whole crowd chanting your name, and you obviously look like it kind of got you there. What did that feel like?
Who was crying?
You was crying? See? I told you about that. 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 I seen that tear. You're testing that tear, bro. Don't do that.
You see, this is why I don't be doing nothing. I can't even show emotion no more. Anyways, man, it was just bittersweet. You know, obviously, you know, like I've said, you know, pretty much all year, we've had a target on our backs, and we had to battle through adversity all season. Nobody, you know, believed that we could get to this moment but us. You know, everybody in the locker room, and these guys, they earned it, man. They earned it. This is why they came here for, and we accomplished, you know, a few of the goals that we set out to do.
Roger.
Zuby, when they start to make a run in the second half and they get it down to 7, you know, Bryce hits the jumper, and then you make 3 big plays, the hook shot, the three-pointer, and the block that ends up in the Mitchell dunk. Can you sort of share, like, your feelings of personal responsibility about making sure St. John's gets over the finish line?
You know, every time I go out there, you know, I just try to compete at a high level and do whatever it takes to, you know, come out successful, you know, on the defensive end, on the offensive end, and do whatever it takes, like I said, to come out to win. But these guys, I mean, they competed all game, and they understood the assignment. You know, we had to set the tone early against UConn because they're such a great program. So we set the tone early, you know, like we did, you know, pretty much all tournament. But we had to be resilient, you know, to come out with a win like this, and these guys did that.
Kevin.
Bryce, obviously, like, a lot has been said about your decision to transfer from the outside world and all that. Does a tournament like this, a game like this, the celebration after the game, does it make all that worth it, that this journey and what you've been on over the last year?
100%. I feel like the biggest thing for me is I'm just extremely blessed to be back healthy playing basketball at 100%. And I feel like that's the biggest thing. You know, we have a great team right here and a great group of guys that I love going to work with every night. So, you know, this is some momentum that we can build on going into the tournament, and I just love playing with these guys.
Yeah, we'll go right back there.
Yeah, I have a quick question for Bryce. Bryce, I mean, you're a graduate student, you're coming from Providence, and I think it's got to feel good for you to come into this program for the first time and get a big win like this. I just want to ask you about your emotions right now. Obviously, you still have a lot of basketball to be played, the NCAA tournament, but right now, obviously some gold right in front of you and a hat to just condemnate a great season from you guys. Just what are your raw emotions after a big win like that?
Yeah, it means a lot. We put in so much work starting in the summer, and we're still putting in a ton of work right now. And it's just so rewarding that all the work that we put in the summer and all the long days, the long nights, the ups and downs, you know, it paid off. We're not done yet. We have a lot more to go that we want to achieve, but this is definitely rewarding right now for sure.
I'll go up front.
Bryce, early on in the game, you guys got multiple teammates involved outside of Zuby. How much did that kind of help open up the offense, not only for you guys, but also for Zuby later in the game?
For sure. We know what Zuby brings to the table, and we all play off of that. But, you know, when everybody else is clicking as well, I feel like we're just that much harder to guard. You know, everybody's building their confidence when they see shots falling. And, you know, it just means a lot for all of us, you know, just go out there, have the extreme confidence, you know, playing off of one another.
Zuby, back-to-back nights, you have Hines and then Reed right after. What's it like having to battle against such high caliber and physical big men on back-to-back nights?
I mean, I think it just brings out the best in me. You know, I love competing at a high level, and obviously, you know, those two are you know, special talents, especially, you know, Terrace. But, you know, it was never about Terrace versus Zuby. You know, it was always about St. John's versus UConn, and doing whatever it takes to come out to win, and that's exactly what we did tonight.
Zuby, you had this experience last year, winning a championship and the euphoria, and then of course some of the disappointment happened in the second round of last year's tournament. How do you take that experience from last year and kind of use that for motivation, or use that to kind of teach the other guys that have not been through this experience before?
You know, just carry the momentum that we have, you know, with this tournament, you know, to the NCAA tournament. But you know, all you could do is, you know, just approach, you know, each and every day in the best way possible. You know, practice, compete at a high level like a champion we are, and we wait to see who our next opponent is. But, you know, like I say, we're just going to enjoy this one tonight, you know, just and regroup, you know, sooner than later.
Cool. Zach.
Rick, could you just put into perspective, you came here 3 years ago, and, you know, a program that obviously had been through a lot of tough times for 25 years. And to win 4 titles in the last 2 years, and to do it with basically different teams, are you even surprised at what's happened the last 2 years?
You know, last night I had a big treat, because every time I step on the floor at Madison Square Garden, I think of something that has happened in my lifetime. And last night, I drafted a local product from St. John's in Bishop Lachlan, Mark Jackson, and he was here at the game. He's here at the game tonight. He was my rookie of the year. Second year made the All-Star team. So it was such a thrill for me because it brought back so many incredible memories of him flying a plane every time we scored into the press. And to have Mark here means a lot to me because it's the past. And now we fast forward to the present, and there's so much history with St. John's, and we brought it all back in 3 years. Not only with a high ranking, but the first time in the history of the school to win back-to-back regular season, back-to-back tournaments. But I told the guys in the locker room, I said, you know, the one thing I always want, obviously every coach wants to see the team get better and to peak at the right time, but I want to see the individuals get better. And these 4 guys all got a lot better as the season went along. Zuby has taken it from a guy that came in without a lot of confidence to now one of the great leaders in the game that I've ever coached. Bryce Hopkins has got significantly better. And I told Dylan and Bryce going into this, if you guys don't dominate, we can't win this game. And they both played unbelievable. Oziah's been consistent from the summer to now, gotten a lot better defense, but they've all gotten significantly better at a lot of stages of their careers, which is great for our coaching staff. And for me personally, being a New Yorker and seeing the thrills of our fans and seeing the thrills of the team means a great deal to me to be a small part of this whole thing. So I'm really, really proud. I know Louie's looking down at us with great pride. Joe Lapchick's looking down at us with great pride. And I'm really, really impressed by all of them. With 12:30 to go in the game, I had to take a timeout. I had to waste a timeout, which infuriated me with these guys. And I said to them, you're fatiguing. Don't let this clock run out. You've got to keep the pressure on them offensively. Johnnies don't get tired. Johnnies don't get tired. I took Zuby out right before that, and he said to me, Coach, at 8 minutes, bring me back in. And he did. They all played a lot of minutes in this tournament and didn't fatigue. And at that point, they just turned it around and dominated the game once again against a very good Connecticut team. Very good. We held Mullen without a three-point shot at halftime. These guys played great. I don't know what was better, the defense, the offense, or the attitude. So I'm real proud of all 4 of you guys. You're tremendous young men, as well as being great basketball players, and you've all gotten significantly better, which is what every coach wants.
Second row.
Rick, when we spoke to you on Wednesday, you spoke about how impressed you were, I guess, by how this team had responded from the loss to UConn. I guess now, seeing what they did tonight, just can you kind of describe what allowed them to bounce back in such an emphatic way?
Well, we talked about it, and I told them, I said, look, my Louisville team lost to Providence by 32, and we went to a Final Four. We lost to Notre Dame by 31. We went to an Elite Eight. I said, it's meaningless. It's meaningless. Now, what's meaningful is how you come out against Villanova. You can't do anything about that loss, but you can do something about the way you come out against Villanova. And true to form with the character of these guys, they came out and I think won by 32 points against a very good Villanova team.
All right, we'll go to Kev.
Rick, can you describe the closing efforts of Dylan Darling? Obviously, his shot wasn't necessarily falling, and then that 13-0 run you guys had to end the game, he scores 6 of the points and was really aggressive.
Yeah, and he didn't have it his way at all during it just shows you about Bells how I said to him, I said, take it easy, Steph, because he's trying to go one-on-one. I said, Zuby, will you do something with this guy? Set a pick, get him out of going one-on-one. And but it shows you it wasn't going his way. He just tried to take over the game offensively and defensively with a great back tip. But listen, these two bookend forwards, they are tremendous. They are tremendous. Don't underrate them. This guy takes a lot of publicity away from them because of his greatness. But those bookends there, the 3 of them, they make up a great, great front court. Dylan Mitchell, I was getting all over him. I said, you handle the ball. You handle the ball. You are the point guard. And he was brilliant. Hop kept getting better and better. What a great tournament. I'm proud of you guys.
Rick, yesterday you mentioned a starving dog approach that you guys came out of the gates with. It was another fast start tonight. Was it that same starving dog approach, or what was it tonight that allowed you guys to get off?
We never mentioned revenge because we have so much respect for Connecticut. We just talked about championship. This is a championship. It doesn't matter who we're playing. It's a championship at stake. You guys get a chance to be part of history. It's a championship. It's another night to get better and improve. And we did. We improved every single game, and we got better. Remember, we were struggling. Come back against Xavier. Come back against Butler. Come back against Seton Hall. We're always trailing. And we came out, the ball went up, and 3 straight nights, we didn't relent at all. And that's a great sign offensively and a great sign defensively going into the tournament.
Uzziah, since Media Day, you talked all season about your excitement to be on this team. And here you are, you're a part of a legacy now. And there's some kid somewhere shooting a basketball, looking at St. John's the way they did 40 years ago. What's the lesson that you carry forward that you could tell that kid shooting a basketball?
It might sound a little cliche, but just to never stop working, Me being from California, coming out here, it wasn't for any reason. For no reason. I wanted to come and win a championship, and that's what I had in goal ever since June. So to be in this position and to win it feels great. It feels amazing. And, we're not done yet.
One thing I told these guys, I said, this is Uzziah's 3rd school, and he's a very bright, articulate young man. And Dylan, as well as Bryce, has been to a couple schools. But they're always going to be Johnny's because their home court is Madison Square Garden. It's the Mecca. They're never, ever going to... They'll talk about the other schools. I'm sure they had great experiences. But they're always going to be Johnny's, even though it's been a short period of time, because Madison Square Garden is their home.
All right, Ralph.
Rick, I kind of fear you might hate this question, but...
You're going to answer it. Ask it.
Do you think this team is better situated going into the tournament than last year's team? I know it's a very different team, but do you think the team is built better?
I think last year's team was one of the best defensive teams in the country. But I believe defense is all scouting. It's all scouting. Because they're all good athletes. It's all about preparing and taking away what the other team does well. If you know what they're going to do and you prepare for that, they're good enough athletes to take it away, just like tonight. Now, you obviously will be well prepared for the first game, but then I told these guys that these 3 games have to be the first 3 games in the NCAA tournament because you get little prep time. We'll be ready for the first game. God willing, we get by that game. And then the second game, you got 1 day. So they're ready for that now. They all know it's prep. Every one of them knows it's prep. And they're all locked in defensively. They're locked in offensively. But one of the things I love tonight is Bryce Hopkins just say, give me the ball. I'm going to the rim. I'm taking over. And then Dylan Mitchell flying down the court. And it was just exciting to see the confidence of both players. And then Uzziah shooting the ball. This guy doesn't need a boost of confidence. He thinks he's the best player in the country, and he shows it every single night.
Coach, in December, you talked about how the lack of this team's continuity made it the most challenging thing you've ever experienced as a coach. Does this accomplishment and figuring it out make it that much sweeter?
Well, I think every coach would say that right now. Every coach is going through this. We had Zuby and Ruben, who played a lot of minutes, and next year we're going to have Ruben and a couple other guys. So it's going to happen every single year. It's going to be tough to get that continuity. The most ridiculous rule in history of the NCAA is that professional athletes giving you 4 hours a week. I mean, that is the dumbest thing I've ever witnessed in my lifetime, in all of college basketball. To have professional athletes saying, well, you can only have 4 hours during the summer. I mean, come on, these guys are in this game. They come to St. John's to get better. And so I'm hoping they do away with that ridiculous rule.
Right,
just think of how good Bryce would be right now if we had 8 hours a week.
So, Coach, last season when you played Connecticut in Stores, you felt like in the first half of that contest that they had too many easy shots, and then you utilized your press in the second half. I mean, could you just describe what you saw with the press tonight, and what about your team makes them so effective in utilizing that press?
Sometimes the press doesn't get you a lot of turnovers, But what it does get you, it gets you the fatigue element, so their jump shot is not as good. That's happened to me so many times in coaching, is just wear the other team down. These guys, when I called that time, I said, we don't fatigue. You guys, your practice is much tougher than this game. And so we don't fatigue. And it takes away from their jump shot, their movement, because they've got great movement. But these guys were totally locked in tonight, locked in at the full court 90-foot level. Once they crossed half court, they were all locked in defensively.
Rick, when you arrived here 3 years ago, UConn was in the midst of winning back-to-back championships, national championships. Now you've won 2 double championships in the Big East. When you got here and you saw what UConn was, I guess, what did you think you had to do to get St. John's to this point based on knowing that they were at the top of the mountain?
Well, I think it's great that Connecticut's at the top of the mountain, because this league needs more better teams. We need to get Georgetown back. We need to get Providence back. We need to get I got to get my son to start recruiting great basketball players. So we need the league to get back. We've got great coaches, and I think the misconception says, well, the Big East got $22 million to spend because they don't have no football. We're not spending $22 million, but we all need to. Everybody needs to get $10 million to spend. For the rich people like Georgetown and Villanova, maybe they go to 12. For those people poor trying to get a break in life like us, we maybe get to 10. But everybody needs to get that up there so we can get greatness back. That's what it's all about right now. It's a salary cap. Everybody needs to get to $10, $12 million, and with this coaching in this league, everybody will be back, and the Big East will be great once again.
Zuby, so you've got a second championship here, second tournament championship here, and you know, I'm not going to ask you to compare them because they're both. Can I borrow that from you?
Yep.
Sorry.
Oh, okay. I'm not going to ask you to compare them because I'm sure they're both special, but can you sort of describe what the difference is between, like, winning the first one and then the experience of the repeat?
The first one was, truly special. Obviously, it was the first time that I experienced winning at such a high level. But, the second time coming around, it was more so not even about me. It was more so about the new guys that came in. I wanted to win for them. I wanted them to feel the thrill of winning a championship here in MSG. And we accomplished that goal. And just to see the excitement, the smiles on their faces, it meant a lot to me. That's like I said, that's who I do it for. I do it for them. I do it for Johnny's Nation, for my family, and I was just excited, and more so than anything, I wanted to get out the win for them.
You're nodding your head, Dylan. What is it like for you to hear him say that he was more in it for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it earlier in the year, just our goals coming in, and Zuby, Deku, Ruben, all the guys that were here last year just talked about the accomplishment of winning the Big East, not only the conference, the regular season, but also the tournament. And then seeing it in Carnesecca, they hung the banner up, they got their rings. I mean, it's unreal, and it's something that the new guys wanted to be a part of. And we preached it from the jump, what our goals were, and it's a long season, and we got to take one game at a time and 40 minutes at a time. But now to accomplish something that we had early June, it's just a big testament to what we've put in, every day on a day-to-day basis.
Case, Coach, you guarded Terrace Reed tonight one-on-one, and your perimeter defenders did an excellent job staying with their man. What did you see on film in the scout from the last game that led you to make that decision?
Well, we wanted to trap him big last game in Connecticut, and didn't work out very well. So all I said to Zuby was, look, we're going to dig if anybody gets below the three-point line, but Zuby, you got him one-on-one, and just make it difficult. The only thing I ask you, don't foul him, Zub. Just don't foul him. He makes the shot. He's then got to guard you, so don't worry about that. And Zuby did a great job of staying out of foul trouble, and we took away the three-point shot by doing that, and that's what we wanted to do. It wasn't so much that we were trying to stop him. It was we wanted to take away the three-point line.
Coach, in the early 2010s, after realignment, many called the Big East dead. They said they replaced the poets with businessmen. Yet here you are.
Say it again, I'm sorry.
They said they replaced the poets with businessmen. Yet here you are. You sold out the Garden again. Back-to-back Big East championships. You've brought St. John's back to the national stage. How does it feel?
What do you mean by businessman? I don't get the analogy.
That's what they said. That's what ESPN said famously in their Requiem.
And what was it? What was there?
They said they replaced the poets of the Big East with businessmen. Yet someone like you, Hall of Famer, national champion, you're a poet of college basketball.
Well,
and you're
the
here, you're back.
Big East right now is mostly Catholic schools. It's mostly schools where enrollments are down. They don't have a lot going for themselves right now, except the pride in their university. We have great pride in our university. Our student body does, our administration does. Our enrollment's down, but sometimes it's better to have a smaller university and bring quality than quantity. And I think that's what St. John's is trying to do right now, is really build quality. And all of us in the Big East, because I know this. Look, I've coached in the SEC, ACC, I've coached in the Big East for a second time. There's great coaches at every level. But in the Big East, it gets extra competitive because for us, every single team that comes into the Garden, we're going to get their best night because it's Madison Square Garden. It doesn't matter what their record is, we're going to get their best night. So the Big East will be back, and I think it'll be back big. We got Villanova back. We got to get the other schools to come back right now. So we got great coaches. Now we just need to beef up the individuals. They got to get players like the 4 guys I have up here.
All right, got time for one more.
Rick, you mentioned right here to your left in the middle.
I'm sorry.
No, you're okay. You mentioned you called the timeout with about 12 and a half to go. How momentous was that swing there with when Bryce gets the mid-range jump shot, Darling forces the turnover, then Zuby hits that 3? Just how momentous was that for you?
I felt we were fatiguing a little bit mentally, and I don't like to call a timeout. My staff yelled and said, "We got one coming," and I said, "It's too late for that. I got to get a time. I got to speak to these guys." And I just said, "Look, you've got the lead. Stop deflating. Get after them." I said, "Stop." A lot of teams with a lead, they don't play to win. They just, and you got to play to win. You got to keep the pressure on offensively. And these guys went out and attacked the basket, attacked the defensive end of the court. And it's just a reminder to them. I had to get, I always sense when he gets a little tired. You know, he works so hard on every offensive rebound. He's battling physically. And it's really tough on him. Now, Ruben's given him some good minutes, but it's tough on him. He's been through a lot. And 3 games in 3 nights, playing this type of competition is difficult. So he got a nice rest and came back. But the other 2 guys never relented the entire night. The 2 bookends, they were awesome.
Great. St. John's, congratulations and thank you.
Yes, sir. I'm kidding. All right. That's the only one logged in. Appreciate it. I should bring giving that out. Yeah. Giving awards, but they're not like that.